Hey, good morning, JRB. Hope you guys are ready for a fantastic Wednesday. It looks like a little rain, so we might have some indoor recess. We're going to shift it up a little bit today, and let's go down to our new friend, the host of What's Cooking. Mike, what's going on?
Thanks, Mr. L. Thanks for having me on the show. My name is Mike the Meatballer, and the name of our show is What's Cooking. What's Cooking has a lot, when you're cooking in the kitchen, it's got a lot to do with kind of working in school. Number one, safety. I'm about to turn the oven on to 350 degrees. The first thing I'm going to do before I turn it on, I'm going to check the oven. Make sure there's nothing in there. Because, if something's inside a box or an old pan or, the brownies or whatever it is that might be in there, you don't want that stuff cooking. So that is not on the show of What's Cooking. So we set that up. Then I'm going to check it. I'm good to go. I'm going to turn on my baker, and I'm going to set it for 350 degrees. I'm going to turn that on. Again, the most important thing, similar to school, is we want to make sure we're following directions. Today I'm making a nice meatloaf. What I do for the meatloaf is I get 90% meat, 90% hamburger. And then I'm going to crack a little pepper, crack a little salt. I'm going to throw a little onion powder in there. I usually throw in a couple of onions, but my kids don't like the little onions. So I try to mask it a little bit. Don't tell them. I try to mask it a little bit and put the onion powder in. And then I'm going to make up a little bit of sauce. A little sauce right here that will go really nice. And so I just, again, following the directions, I'm using that, and then I'm going to stir it up. And once I'm ready, I try not to taste too many things in the kitchen because, one, we're spreading a lot of germs, and that's something else we want to watch out for at school is, spreading our germs. And number two is there's a lot of meat, a lot of different stuff that has a lot of ingredients that aren't good for us if they're not cooked. So we want to make sure that everything is going right as planned. So I got the dinner all set here. And this is What's Cooking. I'm going to throw this right over the top. What I do for the meatloaf actually is I poke a bunch of holes in it so the sauce kind of goes right down inside, making sure that every single little nook and cranny gets a little bit of this special sauce that I make at home. It's my wife's grandmother's secret barbecue recipe. I mask it a little bit because, times are a little bit different than in the 50s, but it's still, I think, pretty delicious. And so after I'm all done with that, I got it seeped in. I give it a little shake. I'm ready to go. That's going to be our dinner in about an hour. I'm going to set the timer for an hour. And Mr. L, that's What's Cooking. So thanks for having me on the show. Hopefully we can do it again. That's What's Cooking here on this February evening. And I hope you guys up there at JRB are having a wonderful day. I think it's going to be fantastic weather. We'll hear from Mike, the meteorologist, probably. And then let's just have a great day. Let's have some fun. All right, I'll talk to you later. And back to Mr. L, and thank you so much for having me on the show. Have a great day up there at JRB.
Oh, cool to know. Thanks for the safety tips. And it's pretty cool that, cooking and some of the outdoor things that we do are a lot like, here at school. So that's awesome. Hey, Mike the Mapler, what is going on? It's finally maple syrup time. How's it going out there?
Hello, my friends at JRB. It is Mike the Mapler. Thanks for having me on the show, Mr. L. We are here at Raccoon Hill. We're right in the middle of maple syrup in season, and I am boiling up some sap tonight. I got about 20 gallons going. I can kind of walk you through the process so you get a chance to check it out. All the maple syrup is gathered here in these buckets that have a line coming right out of the tree, right in them, and right next to me is the fire. So I'm going to keep that thing cooking. I cut up some wood last year right here. Usually I do it while I'm maple syruping, and that way it kind of sits here. It's nice and dry. It's going to be nice and hot. I like to use pine, old dead pine trees.
I like to use those as we're cooking, as we're starting the fire, just because it burns super hot, and I can get a really nice boil on the sap that'll become maple syrup. So I just kind of keep that thing full, and then we'll go over. Let's go check out what the maple syrup looks like. So right here you can see it's getting ready to start boiling. We've done probably about 10 to 12 gallons already. I cheated a little bit. You can see it's starting to boil. There's that white foam that we're talking about. You can kind of see it. I'm just going to clean that off while we're talking. So we all know that water boils at about 212 degrees. So while the water is boiling at 212 degrees, that's just water. When it gets to about 214, 215, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking some of that foam off. It kind of looks like shaving cream at the moment. I'm just taking that off so I can get a nice burn here and just keep everything boiling. And so water boils at 212 degrees. Sap has a lot of water content. So it takes about 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. And I think that's a little bit high. I don't usually get 40 to 1 ratio, but you get a good idea of how much time and how much sap goes into making a maple syrup container for you. So it boils at about 220, it boils at 212. Then once it starts boiling, it's gonna start eventually, you're gonna get rid of the water. And that temperature is gonna be about 214 degrees. I keep boiling it. You get kind of like a really small bubble, caramel looking sap. And I keep boiling it until it hits about 218, 219 degrees. Generally, that's where I pull it off. I go inside and I put it in jars right away. It's delicious. It's a wonderful hobby. I make about 2 to 3 gallons. I give away a little bit. If you can see over there through the woods, I give away, I always make the first one for them, just because we kind of share some of the pine that drop down between us. So I just give them usually the first one. And that works out pretty well for them. And it's delicious. So that is pretty much the maple syruping process. I wish I had a jar that I could show you kind of what the finished product looked like. When you first start boiling, I usually start boiling at the mid to end of January, and it comes out super, super light. And it has kind of a buttery flavor, just a natural buttery flavor, because nothing's added. It's just the water from the tree, the sap from the tree. And then as we go on, like right now, it's going to get probably pretty dark and look more like the maple syrup that you're used to. So that just comes over time as as things kind of progress with the tree. And then eventually, once you see the buds in the tree, maple syrup season is all over. So we probably have, usually we'd have 2 or 3 more weeks, but it's going to be so warm up here that we won't have that much time. But I'm going to be out here tonight. I'll probably be out here a little bit Thursday night and definitely Saturday morning, because we do it every Saturday morning, and that will probably be the end of maple syrup season here at Raccoon Hill. But thanks for checking in, Mr. L, and we'll see you soon. I hope everyone up there at JRB has a fantastic day. Interesting. I didn't know most of that stuff. That's pretty cool. So that's probably why, real maple syrup is so expensive. Interesting. Good to know. Maybe you can send some of that in so we can give it a try on the next waffle day, or maybe a couple of us. All right. Well, that's it for the news, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.